Hi, my name is Sundar. I work with an organization called INREM Foundation in India. I was brought up in Mumbai in the 80s and 90s, and I've seen the progress and the development that a city like Mumbai has made in front of my eyes. But what really troubles me, what really hurts me, is the huge cost at which this progress has happened. When I travel across India and I visit villages, I meet people, it's quite hard to accept that while there is tremendous progress and development happening in the world today, on the other hand, you have a lot of people who are really left out, and the impact of this progress is felt more on the people who are left, and especially the impact on the environment, on water, on air, on soil, and on climate, as we are seeing today. It hurts most the people who are poorest, who are most vulnerable, and who cannot really cope up with these tremendous changes that are happening during our times. The mission that INREM is working for is to make sure that nobody is left out and a basic quality of life, a clean environment, clean water, quality water for drinking, for your basic livelihood, such as for your irrigation, and just clean water around you is possible for anybody, then we've realized that it doesn't come at a huge cost for people. What is really lacking is the basic know how, the ability to really access resources, knowledge resources, and other entitlements that people really need to be able to get empowered and get the basic rights that people deserve. We started our journey in INREM trying to first identify which are the critical problems of clean water, of contaminated water, of water quality in India that are really affecting people, making them more vulnerable. In our initial years of research, we realized that there are two such problems. One of fluoride contamination, another of arsenic contamination in India that are affecting together around 100 million people across the country. And we started working towards it. At first, we started working with very few people, in fact, with just a few children in a remote tribal location in the state of Madhya Pradesh. And in a few years, we realized that one can actually demystify all the science that we've got, have simple solutions, empower people, and enable them to move forward from the situation that they are, find solutions, and also spread it across to others. This really encouraged us, and we went out and saw, okay, if we can do it for this one problem, then what are other problems are there in the country? What are these contamination issues? How can we really address it? And we discovered that there is not just one or two such issues. Water contamination comes in so many different forms across India because of the diversity of a country like ours and also of the diversity of water sources that people access. And very soon we realized that the mission is too large for just a small group like us to be solving for. And that's what led us to the formation of what we now refer to as the Water Quality Network. So apart from what INREM itself works on in terms of innovating, working together with communities, identifying together with rural communities what are the contamination issues around them, building solutions to them. We also build a wide network. We enable this wide water quality network of individuals, activists, change makers in villages, officers within the government, engineers, chemists, innovators across India and also now increasingly across the world to come together as water quality champions so that the problems that we are looking at today are solved and sustained, solutions are sustained for the long term. So the wider Water Quality Champions program of INREM builds upon the base foundation of INREM's experience and evidence from the ground and together connects these change makers as a wide water quality network across India. We have a flagship program called the Water Quality Management course that is offered to anyone who is interested. It has now been increasingly adopted in wider government programs such as the Jal Jeevan Mission. And our long-term aim is to ensure that it becomes very easy for anyone, anywhere to just hop in, enable themselves, find out what is needed for them to solve their problems, and to take it ahead and solve it. So that's the aim that we want INREM to be going towards in terms of solving water quality problems anywhere in India, and possibly even outside of India and across the world, where these problems are now being increasingly faced. What INREM is working on is mission critical. The problem is now, the solutions have to be now, in the next few years, next 3 or 5 years. And for that to happen, we really have to put up with a vast set of challenges that the solutions are faced with. Climate change and water contamination are very closely linked with each other. And today the solutions that we are putting forward, the communities that are coming together, the resilience of the solutions is hit a lot by climate change. The approaches that we are putting forward now need to happen right now in the next few years. And that is why the mission that INREM is right now working on needs to scale fast, it needs to get strengthened, and it needs to reach different geographies of India and perhaps in the nearby region of South Asia and the Indo-Pacific, where similar problems are being faced in a rapid manner, and which means two things. One, currently INREM works in 7 geographies across India, experimenting and working together with rural communities on solutions to water quality problem for drinking water, for irrigation, across water bodies. This also needs to expand. Our teams need to reach more geographies so that we are able to innovate and experiment better and come up with solutions that are closer to what is really needed. Secondly, we need to scale fast with the Water Quality Champions program so that the wider network that we are building is strengthened and it grows fast to reach to each and every village of India and perhaps to regions nearby across South Asia and in other countries so that solutions reach fast to the people who need them. And for this, INREM needs to be supported, especially the next few years, 2025 to 2028. We see these years as critical to the mission that INREM is working on, especially with climate change having its impacts severely right now coming in front of us. And we welcome partners, stakeholders, different other agencies to be with us in this mission. INREM's mission till now has been made possible because of generous support from different agencies. The European Union has supported INREM for the last 6 years, and it has allowed us to strengthen our community programs, but especially also expanding the water quality network that INREM is scaling now. And with the European Union support, we have had access to experiences across the EU, standards on the environment, on water quality that the EU adopts, know-how in terms of what we can look forward to, and especially the EU-India Water Partnership, which is something that INREM is also part of now, is very helpful in terms of putting forward a vision that we can take forward for a country like India. Apart from that, other philanthropies such as Arghyam in India and the Azim Premji Foundation have been generous to support our programs and help us scale. The UNICEF is in India. The UNICEF program in India has been a close partner for the last 5 to 6 years, and we are grateful for the support that they have provided in terms of system strengthening at a government level and our partnerships that have been enabled with various government programs. Apart from that, we welcome various Indian and international agencies to partner with us, and together let us create impact at scale. Thank you.